Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Dean. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. And as an introduction to my discussion, I have to say that I started the company about 5 or 6 years ago at a fundraiser for the Clinton Library that a friend of mine was hosting. And Chevy Chase, who I knew, was invited, and he was one of the co-hosts, and he introduced me to President Clinton. And President Clinton and Chevy Chase were speaking to one another. And my friend who was hosting, a gentleman named Bob Rose, he knew my internet background and said to me, is there some way that you think you can raise some money for the Clinton Library with these folks in the room? And I suggested auctioning off the opportunity to meet them. And that's pretty much how my company started. So I probably have a special fondness, for the Clinton Library, and I've worked, very closely with the Clinton Foundation ever since. My business model, as Jordan outlined, is really goes with my belief that it's good business to do good. And what we do is we're the intersection of philanthropy, the innate desire that people have to give back, technology, which is rapidly changing right now, and as everyone knows, with social media and Facebook and Twitter and iPhones and smaller and quicker and less expensive devices, it's changing even more quickly these days, and the focus that people have on celebrity. So what we do is we're the intersection of all three, and we try to combine that and as a result do good. Today we have about 3,000 charity partners. We're proud of our large associations. We work closely, as I mentioned, with the Clinton Foundation, with the RFK Center, with national organizations like the American Cancer Foundation, Michael J. Fox Foundation, but we also work with small regional charities, orphanages, increasingly. It's probably a state of the economy. We work with a lot of schools, both public and private, that need funds to supplement, what they're not getting, elsewhere. And our auctions can be both large or small, but all of them, address people's desire to help out and give back. One of the accidents of the business that happened a couple of years ago, originally I started with nonprofits, but Cone Marketing and other marketing companies have done all these studies, and it shows that people in society are more likely to patronize corporations that have a social conscience. And increasingly, the largest part of our business, and in fact, the most substantial, is that with corporate partners that want to give back. And I have a couple of case studies that I can discuss, but organizations like Ralph Lauren or People Magazine or HBO or Chevrolet, they all feel that it's part of their corporate DNA to give back, and we auction off experiences or merchandise that support their beliefs. The Charity Buzz experience is basically a combination. We have an online platform, so unlike Walmart, which is a large volume company that you're all familiar with, it deals at mass volume very efficiently. We deal at the high end, and it's an online platform that goes after upscale experiences with lots of white glove customer service. Our business has grown. We've given away $50 million through this year. This past year was $25 million. The year before was $12 million. So every year we've been pretty consistently doubling, and we now have about 60,000 registered bidders. 40% of them are non-U.S., 60% are U.S., and the non-U.S. part of our business is growing, probably more dramatically. What we try to do is we try to approach nonprofits, and basically we're a development office. So if you're a small nonprofit or a large nonprofit, you have limited people and you're focused on your goal. So if it's an organization that deals with kids and education, you should be focused on that. So just like you mentioned, Jordan, in the auctions, what we do is we take all that work off your plate. All we do is the auction part of the business. So we have copywriters, we have people that ship, we have people that write the terms and restrictions, we have people that arrange the redemptions, so the nonprofits can focus on their work. So we're a specialist in what we do, which takes the work away from them, and we also can do it more efficiently. Corporate social responsibility I mentioned, and I have a couple of case studies which I'll go through. And again, what we do for these corporations, and it really goes to the tenet of why a lot of you are at this school in terms of giving back and doing good, that you really can do that and make money at it. And that's a core belief of the company, that we can provide these services and allow both for-profit and non-profits focus on their regular business. This is a case study on Ralph Lauren. Last year, Ralph Lauren obviously markets on a global basis, a lifestyle, the world of Ralph Lauren. And it's, luxury merchandise and travel and jewelry and merchandise. And what we did is the 10th anniversary of their foundation, they partnered with us on all the Ralph Lauren stores around the world, had Charity Buzz, decals in the stores. We made up 300,000 brochures, which was pretty good, exposure for our brand. So we're thrilled to do it. And basically we auctioned off probably, 120 experiences. There was a glimpse into the world of Ralph Lauren. Ralph Lauren spent millions and millions of dollars promoting this because it showed that their brand really cared about what was important to their customer, which happens to be breast cancer awareness. So it was good business for them because their customers came into the store and saw that they believed in an issue important to them. And we raised, in excess of $1 million and auctioned off a lot of terrific experiences. And in addition, brought a lot of new people into the Ralph Lauren brand. This is an example of a situation where there's a tragedy, and we've done several of them. The most recent one was with Japan after the last earthquake. And the CFDA, which is the Council of Fashion Designers of America, which is a pretty strong, pretty dedicated organization. All the top designers in the United States belong to it. All band together. They worked with us, and we had each of the designers put together an experience or unique merchandise, and we raised about $500,000 literally in 2 to 3 weeks, auctioning off experiences. Go to Diane von Furstenberg's house and stay there for a week. Have Tory Burch give you a tour of her showroom and go on a shopping spree with her. So it was unique merchandise that, as you can see, Kenneth Cole, who has, iconic ads. So it supports the brand. It also goes into the whole belief that, it's good business for brands to support charities. One of our closest relationships is with the Kennedy family and the RFK Center for Human Justice and Human Rights. And we've worked with them from the beginning. We work with Mrs. Kennedy, who was terrific in calling people on the phone and putting together unique experiences. And when Ethel Kennedy gets you on the phone, it's hard to say no. And we put together unique experiences. And that's also one of the core beliefs of my business, that the RFK Center really champions justice around the world, but we don't auction off experiences that aren't fun, that aren't uplifting, that don't embrace pop culture. The result, millions and millions of dollars, gets them to do work all over the world, from Haiti to Zimbabwe to upstate New York with farm workers. And we put together these upscale experiences that also brings new people into their brand and gets them exposed to the wonderful work started by Bobby Kennedy, 40 some odd years ago. This is an example of a collaboration. We work with the Christie's Auction House, which obviously is synonymous with upscale luxury merchandise, and 4 environmental charities, NRDC, Oceana, Central Park Conservancy, and Conservation International. We put them all together, and we do a gala once a year in New York. We raised online $2 million, in total $5 million, a combination of online and live. And one of the things we try to do is merge the two together so people can bid online, they can bid at a live event. And it supports wonderful environmental work, in addition to creating a lot of awareness for these green nonprofits. This year we had tons and tons, we had a fashion show, so we had lots of models show up, and as a rule of business, you get a lot of models, you get a lot of rich guys that like to see them, and they spend lots of money. So, but that's part of the business model. When we show up at events, we usually position ourselves. I have my people there. We come with iPads. We walk around, and again, it's people can have fun and also donate to charity. It doesn't have to be stuffy. We did this auction. Obviously, there's lots of good stories about the resurgence of the U.S. auto industry, and the Chevrolet Volt is a success story, the first electric car off the assembly line in Detroit. And we auctioned off the first one at a retail value, I believe, of $35,000, and we auctioned off that you could have, it was actually the second one. The first one went to the Smithsonian. This was the first one available for retail sales, and we raised $225,000, and the money went to Detroit Public Schools. So it was great exposure for the Chevrolet Corporation, that they were environmentally responsible. It was great exposure for them that they had a social conscience, and almost $250,000 went to Detroit Public Schools. All of these things, I have to say, we started the business. I collect a fee on all these, so my business is for profit. And I think one of the good things about having a business and telling people that you make money is that you can do social good and still, hire people, increase your payroll, contribute to, a for-profit business and do good at the same time. This is an example, unlike, similar to the Japan auction, we did an auction for Haiti. And this was one where Larry King, who we'd worked with, just very quickly, he called us on a Monday afternoon. It was probably around 1 p.m. and said he was thinking of doing a Haiti telethon. Could we put together an auction with some celebrities for that night? So of course, when there's a urgent tragedy like Haiti or like Japan, you can get people to respond very quickly. And we raised literally in a couple of hours with a couple of celebrities jumping on $250,000. And his suspenders, he agreed that he would auction them off at 25 grand, and he said he would put the corporate name on his show. So we got a whole bunch of corporations. It was pretty much like free ad placement. For $25,000, Larry would give them their suspenders and they get their corporate name. So it was fun, it was good business, and it was reacting to a tragedy. These are some examples just of auction experiences and what they go for. Last week, spent an exciting day with President Clinton. Actually, it was 2 weeks ago, with a Monday when the stock market was crashing. We sold that for $124,000. And that's a day where you basically, there's no agenda, there's no script. You'll be picked up by someone with President Clinton's office and spend a day with him. So as anyone's familiar with the former president, it could be a lot of different things, but it will certainly be an interesting exposure. Sir Paul McCartney, that was at the Apollo Theater, go backstage. You got to hang out with him in the green room and went for $130,000. The intern for Sir Richard Branson, that's an interesting one because that shows the power of social media. Richard Branson, who tweeted out, "Do you want to become my intern?" It went to his following, and we sold that for $85,000. And interestingly, the person who was the runner-up bidder at 80 had buyer's remorse the next day and called us up, and we were able to offer it twice, so we sold it twice for $85,000. All of these, basically use marketing, use pop culture. The Obama Hope from Shepard Ferry, we sold that, prior to the election, $108,000. So it's like what's current. It's like what's relevant. You can take pop culture and have society benefit. These are some top sports packages. The private tennis lesson with Andre Agassi sold for $100,000. And what we constantly do is try to keep fresh with experiences, because if you offer the same old experience or the same old merchandise, repeatedly, as in anything in business, it gets stale. So probably the only company that encourages all the people to, sit at their desk and read People and the Post and, watch E and, Dancing with the Stars, because those are all, part of pop culture that, people want a part of. Part of what we do also, in addition to raising funds, is raising awareness. So people, obviously if there's a tragedy like Haiti or Japan, people want to read about it. But people really don't want to read, unfortunately, sad but true about war, about disease. And a lot of what we do is can shine a bright light on some of these causes because we embrace pop culture. And certain celebrities, George Clooney said, when he goes to Darfur, if he can take his celebrity and bring it to an unfortunate cause, it's good work. A lot of what we do, we have a quote here from Denise Rich. She started a foundation, Gabriel's Angel Foundation, to find a cure for the cancer that killed one of her daughters. And she basically said that, when her daughter passed away, as a parent, losing a child is just something you can't imagine. She had two choices. She could, roll up and, in the fetal position, or she could go out and celebrate her daughter's life and do something good. So a lot of the celebrity experiences we do for her, as an example, brings awareness to the rare form of cancer that her daughter suffered from. Creating buzz. These days, the rules are being rewritten. So media buys, we don't pay for any media. Everything's donated. We get our celebrities on TV. So as an example, 2 or 3 weeks ago with Russell Simmons, he did the rounds of the talk shows from Morning Joe to Bloomberg to Today's Show, talking about the celebrity experiences that he's auctioning at Charity Buzz. But at the same time, he could talk about the educational opportunities he's providing for urban youth. Today's Show would have zero interest in having him come on TV talking about urban youth, but they have a lot of interest having him come on talking about Mary J. Blige and Ashton Kutcher and a lot of people like that, so he can weave in the stories. And what we do is we try to take the pop culture angle to tell good stories. Power of social media. This one, you know, the train's just leaving the station in terms of the impact here, and it keeps on growing and growing in importance. Yesterday, which I really can't even figure out, we had this huge traffic day, and it's because Donnie Wahlberg, who I didn't even, with all respect to Donnie Wahlberg, I didn't even know he was that much of a celebrity anymore, tweeted about a hand painting he did to benefit Habitat for Humanity, and we had 30,000 people that followed Donnie Wahlberg yesterday that had to come and look to see what he was talking about. And he's not, again, with all due respects to Donnie Wahlberg, he's not the top celebrity, but one of our biggest experiences, Kim Kardashian, we did 2 years ago. For those of you who follow the Kardashians, there's a boxing match, and they auction off the opportunity to box with each of the sisters and the brother on our site. And traffic-wise, we've worked with pretty much every celebrity on the planet, but I have to say the traffic from the boxing match with the Kardashians, because they all tweeted about it, it was all on their Facebook pages, that social media, can be used for good. Everyone reads about Ashton Kutcher and, what a, success he is with his number of followers. So we find that when each of these people send a tweet, Selena Gomez, has 19 million people, 19 million fans. We work with her charity, which is basically animal rescue in Puerto Rico. But when she posts, like, spend a day with me, and 19 million people see it, you see a huge surge in traffic. So again, social media, it's fun, it's interesting, but it can be used for good, and it's changing so quickly. And I'm old and I'm trying desperately to keep up, but it really is changing, and young people are obviously, people at the school here are redefining it. And now with Tumblr and everything else going on, it really is changing. And that's my overview, and I'd love to have any questions from anyone on, any topics I discuss or any questions that anyone might have.
Questions, and if people would raise their hands. I've got one to ask you. Tell me how you work with local colleges and universities, obviously.
Okay, sure. What we do there is we work with a lot of nonprofits that are small, and the first thing they say is they don't have any access to any celebrities, which is true. So with a local college or a local university, we sit down with them and we ask them, all right, for schools as an example, who are bold-faced names that graduated from your university? So right now, as an example, we're working with Hamilton, Tulane, a couple of local schools. Everyone has an alumni that has an interest in that school, even if it's a high school. They have someone that, it could be someone that owns a corporation, so you can get an internship at that school. It could be someone that has a weekend home in Martha's Vineyard or in Florida. So it doesn't have to be something huge, but there's someone on the board today, someone that graduated, someone that maybe grew up in that town. So if we were doing something for the Clinton School, first thing we do is we'd reach out to people that are in Little Rock, and there's a certain certainly a large alumni list of successful people from Little Rock.
Good point.
Thank you again for coming. I'm Fernando Cruz, I'm a student here at the school, and I guess I wanted to know, it seemed like a lot of the stuff you talked about was very, I guess, focused more on people who could afford a lot of money. Do you guys also have programs available for people that are maybe more of a grassroots campaign that could add up, or for people of, more middle class means?
Sure. It's a good question. Yeah, that's actually a good point. I, obviously was focusing on the higher end things. We auction off lots of experiences that are, in the several $100 range. Interesting dinners, hotel stays, merchandise, or overnight stays like that. One of the brand extensions that I'm looking to do, similar to and again, in any business you grow, like you look at a brand like a Donna Karan, then she has a DKNY that's more of a younger, more moderate price, or any brands do that. So one of our growth opportunities is we're going to do like a C-Buzz or a Charity Buzz Light that's a little more moderate price, still keep it unique merchandise, unique experiences, but a little more volume oriented. So Justin Bieber might do a personal meet and greet and concert tour on my charity buzz. One of our future expansions might be tickets in a group meeting that would go for in the hundreds of dollars. So that is an expansion plan. But currently on our site, we do have more moderate merchandise.
Any other question? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. I'm a first-year Clinton student. My name is Matthew Line. I was just curious about how much your overall percentage that you take versus what the charities make, and whether or not there's any type of vetting process with the charities. How do you choose which charities to work with, and whether or not you see sometime in the future a more eBay-oriented auction site where it's much more user-driven than actually like collaboration.
Okay, those are all good questions. To answer your questions, we take 20%, so whatever we raise, 80% goes to the nonprofit. We retain 20%. We charge nothing up front. So in terms of marketing, PR, design, whatever costs are involved, we absorb all of those. And then, when anyone comes to our site, they can look at anything for free, obviously without any obligation. But if you're going to bid, it's a binding financial transaction, so you have to enter your charge card information, because we obviously don't want someone at the end of the auction that can't afford to pay, or a child that took their mother's credit card or whatever. So we charge the people immediately at the close of the auction, retain the 20%, and remit the 80%. In terms of future growth plans, I mentioned the CBuzz Lite, which ties into the whole technology changing. Other areas that we're looking to do, and we're partnering with some people, is text to bid and text to give is one area that, everyone here has their cell phone in their pocket, and we have things like Garden of Dreams, Madison Square Garden, or the Staples Center in LA. Both are clients, so we have some plans with them. So at an arena event, you have 50,000 people there. You can say, all right, for the Garden of Dreams, which provides opportunities for urban kids, everyone text to bid $10, and the winner will get to be able to sit down, courtside and meet the Knicks, or sit courtside and meet the Lakers. So we have programs like that we're developing, registering at events. Everything that I talk about here is on our site, but a lot of what we do also is show up at live galas and do sort of paddle raises where you get nothing back but personal satisfaction. So you can raise your hand and give $500, $1,000, $50. And so we have a lot of new technology on that, which, much smaller amounts of money, but all of that we try to do it in a fun way. So the text to bid, the paddle raises, the things at live arenas, all of those are in the $5, $10, $20. Something like, say, the American Idol. There's no reason why we couldn't do a night right there. Like what we did with Larry King, we auction off some of the higher price items, and then we say, all right, everyone, text to bid, the $5 or $10, and do what I mentioned that we're doing at the arenas also with television. Media is changing so quickly; it's pretty amazing. I've been in the internet space for a while, and it seemed like in the late '90s things were changing when e-commerce first came on board. Right now, it's changing much faster. It's pretty amazing. It's getting cheaper and faster and more mobile, and people want to get back. And if you make it very spontaneous, we do these things now, which we just started. Bid widgets that you put them on, like people's, like say we auction off an experience, you can put it on the person's Facebook page, so they can click right on their Facebook page. So instead of people coming to our site, like you should go to where people are. So if you put it on your Facebook page, everyone sitting here, not everyone, but I'm sure a good majority of you can access your Facebook page from your iPhone or your BlackBerry or whatever it is. So if you consider right now, say I said something really compelling, and you can, bid $10, you can bid on that experience, and it's right on your Facebook page. So, all these widgets or iframes, again, the technology, the thing with working with Facebook now and apps with the Apple Store is it's changing so quickly. So I have a team of developers, it's changing so quickly. They don't tell you when it's changing, so you develop something and then it changes and you have to redevelop it. But it's making it fun, it's making it fresh, and I think there's no better time to be in school, and in particular if you're looking to get into new developments, benefiting people. I went to a graduation a couple of weeks ago, and Thomas Friedman said there's probably no worse time to graduate from school than now, but there's probably no better time to be innovative and start something new. So when you mentioned about the 85% job rate at the end, that's incredible. And now with the new tools, you can really sort of foster your entrepreneurial with the quick way that technology is changing.
Any other questions? Yeah, John.
Hey, I got to meet you real briefly right before the speech, but my name's John Bollardson, and I'm a first-year student, and thanks for coming.
Hi, John.
I just had a question. I don't actually know a lot about social entrepreneurship, and I was wondering if there were any, just like a couple books or something you might recommend for those of us that would like to just learn more about that topic generally.
It's a good question. I don't know any books off the top of my head. I can get your contact information and maybe suggest some afterwards. I guess I can only speak from personal experience from myself and people that I know that have, a lot of people I know have started second careers where you did your first career that, which you did when you had your family and needed to get yourself going, and then you have your second career, but increasingly it can become your first career. I guess it's just follow your passion. Like if you really want to do something and really want to create something, and my personal career was such that I learned that any business, you need to have sound business, philosophy and sound business model. And unlike the first internet boom where there was sort of market share and you can make money later, you need to make money now in any business. And then if you just follow your passion and your creativity, you're going to be successful. And if you're not, start over again. That's okay too. I think you learn more from your stumbles than you do from your successes.
Yes, sir, right here.
I guess I'm sitting over here thinking about the nonprofits in Arkansas, and I'm thinking, how do they benefit from what you're doing? I mean, is there a plan on your part to go state by state? I mean, where can we bid on a day with Skip Rutherford? I mean,
I'd have to pay you to take me.
well, I'd be willing to get paid to have a day with Skip, but anyway, I mean, Razorbacks, all the sports things we can do, Heifer. There are a lot of opportunities for smaller amounts in the state for state and local nonprofits. And I was wondering if you had a sense of where that might be going, or if you would be doing that, or is it something that would spin off and somebody in this room could do it?
No, I mean, I'd love to talk to anyone about that. We are looking to roll out with regional officers. Our main office is in New York. We just opened a full office in Los Angeles, and our business models, we're looking to have regional people all over the country. So we just, and a lot of them are part-time people that can just speak to local schools and an opportunity to have lunch with you. People would pay money for that, and good money, because the exposure that you bring. And what we can do also is you also micro-target to people that are interested. So it does go for a lot of money. Athletics, obviously, Razorbacks, anything athletics always go for a lot of opportunity. Not just the 2 tickets, but it's some sort of like ride on a private bus or some sort of lunch or dinner or workout session with the athletes. So we are looking to roll out. We probably have, we have the main office in Los Angeles. We just opened in addition to our New York, and we're looking to have regional people all over the country. And our first office overseas would be in London. So if anyone here at any charities or nonprofits, we work with, we work with well over 1,000 nonprofits, and a lot of them, increasingly, a lot of them are schools all over the country that just have parents that have some access, and educational programs are cut, or a lot of after-school programs are cut, so they work at some company that might be interested, so they can provide an internship. So, I'd love to talk to anyone that has any individual need. And what we do, our business model is, I have a room full of people that we call them auction specialists, but they're really account managers. And what they are really intelligent, articulate, tech-savvy people that have a social conscience, and they're the ones that will say, that will talk to you based on what you have, will say, that will get a lot of money, that won't get a lot of money, this is a good idea, why don't you ask for this? And they'll talk you through the whole process. So, as I mentioned, some of the smaller charities, I'm probably prouder of the money we raised than the large charities, because it makes such a difference.
Stephen got a question?
Hi, thank you for coming once again. I'm Stephen Bailey, also first-year student here at the Clinton School. I know you had mentioned while you were speaking that you're a pretty specialized company. You only work with the auctioning, and that you have different entities that are kind of doing different things to make it work. So I was really interested in how you kind of started up and brought all of these entities together to make this so successful.
I started off, as I mentioned, when I mentioned at the beginning of my conversation with a chance encounter with President Clinton and Chevy Chase, and it was really just an online auction, and then, Sir Paul McCartney was number 2, and then we did a live event. Actually, it was with Bette Midler for her charity, and the event planner for that charity liked us, so introduced us to a lot of other people. So sort of one person introduced us to another person, and then when I started doing live events where we would take our online auction, and at that time we showed up with laptops. Now it's increasingly iPads where we walk around the room. People that are traditionally involved with one board or attend one gala, attend another gala. So it's kind of grew through word of mouth and through exposure, and increasingly now probably our biggest growth factor is social media. When we do, someone sends out a tweet and lots of people saw it, we'll get lots of calls and emails for additional requests to participate in other charities. Like if you have a charity we'd like to, you want us to work with, we'd start with that, and hopefully someone sees it, and then they're involved in another organization or another school, and as in any business, it grows. We are looking, as I mentioned, at other avenues in addition to the auctions, because what I find is we get huge traffic surges, like when a Kim Kardashian or an Ashton Kutcher or someone like that, Selena Gomez, they put it on their Facebook page and you get literally millions of people that's seeing them. I feel that's a lot of lost opportunity that we're not maximizing. That's why some of these other more volume-oriented mass opportunities to raise money for charities we'll be exploring in the next 6 months. And we're already building out some of the software for that to launch in the fall season, including some things we're launching with the Clinton Foundation in October in conjunction with the 10th anniversary of the Clinton Global Initiative. We're hoping to launch some of those.
Yes, question.
I'm Pat Smith, and I'm not a first-year student, but I'm a lifelong learner. What is the process for obtaining a meeting with one of your representatives to present an idea?
It's very simple. You could give me a business card, and I'd have someone call you when I went back to my office tomorrow. I could give you my card, or you could email info@CharityBuzz. But I'd be happy to get your card. One of the things is, and I guess as a company, one of the DNAs that I want for the company is that everyone is very friendly and really nice, and it's not BS, but we really do feel that we're really lucky and fortunate to work with so many people to raise money for so many good causes. So that people, I'm happy to get your information, and someone can call you when I get back. It's pretty simple. And we'll be very candid. Like if you have something like a signed baseball that you want to auction off, we'll say, you know what, we're probably not the place for it. Go to eBay. But what we try to do is have everything that's just a little unique and a little different, and it raises a lot of money. So I'm happy to talk to you afterwards. What nonprofit do you work with? Do you have a particular focus or a particular specialization? Okay, we'll exchange contact information afterwards, and I'd love to help you. I think the statistic for my company that I'm the proudest of is that we have a 95% retention rate of people that hire us, stay with us. So I tell new clients, we were working with someone the other day and they were going to join us, and I said, we're like the mafia. Once you come on board, you can't leave. And I really feel that that's really good, because if you get involved with them, we're like a development office for them. And as in any relationship or any business partnership, you start off slow and hopefully you pick up tempo as you go along. So the first time you work, you you understand each other, and then year 2 is a little better, and year 3 is even better. And that's really the goal, to grow the business and also make it fun, because part of what we're trying to do, in addition to raising funds, is raising awareness. Hopefully the work that you do, we can bring it or expose it to people that live in Los Angeles or live in Chicago or live wherever, and just, their hook might be the experience that you offer, but once they get exposed to your good work, then they become a fan of the work, and that's really rewarding.
Question right here.
Hello, my name is Veena Rangaswamy, and I am a first-year student here at the Clinton School. Thank you for coming. I was wondering about any internship or employment opportunities that you might have for people who come from a public service background or work in event management, organizing live auctions, but maybe not so much online experience.
I would love to talk to you also. We have an internship program. We have a summer internship program. We had 6 interns over the summer, and I think over the years, I think 4 of my people that I have now full-time were interns and now work with us. One of them, Maggie, started an internship, I guess her junior year, and then she subsequently got married, had her child. She's coming back from maternity leave next week, so she's been with us almost from the beginning. And we even told, and then one of our interns from the summer, we already, actually people in my office, she has 1 more year. Everyone in my office was trying to explain to her that she really didn't need to go back for her senior year, because we already liked her and she had a job. But I'd love to talk to anyone, because we're looking, again, I'm the only old person in my company. Everyone else is in their 20s and 30s, and obviously people that are passionate about causes and intelligent and aware of new technologies, exactly who we're looking to hire.
Well, this is fascinating. Pierre, I know your mind is thinking, and let me assure you mine is, and I'm going to try to beat you to the punch. Just kidding. Coppy, thank you very much. This is a great program. Thank you.
Thank you.